Welcome into 11warriors.com web report. Beau in Cleveland, Dan and James in Columbus. James, let's start with you on your beat, the basketball beat. Kam Williams out against Illinois. Purdue is on Wednesday, won't play there. Doesn't sound like he's going to travel. What's your feeling on the Williams situation? How long can this last? And how big of a hit is it for the Buckeyes as they take on maybe their biggest test of the year at Purdue?
You know, I think you're looking at a suspension that's going to last at least through the Purdue game, if not longer. And I think it really hurts them, not so much on the defensive end, but definitely offensively. This is a guy who gives you 8 to 10 points a game, gets you a couple boards, a couple assists. He spreads the floor really well for this Ohio State team, and without him, you lose that floor spacing and you lose that extra boost offensively. We saw against Illinois, Keita Bates-Diop really had to pick up the offensive slack there, scoring 35 points. Not having him against Purdue, a team that is very good defensively, that has multiple NBA talented kind of guys on their team, it hurts them in multiple areas, but especially on the offensive end, because Ohio State really doesn't have a lot of people offensively that can step up off the bench and give you that spark. So I think in that aspect, it's really going to hurt them moving forward.
James, let's stick it here with you, and let's talk about that Purdue game briefly. Barring Keita Bates-Diop turning into Kevin Durant, is there a roadmap for a Buckeye victory in West Lafayette?
You know, the roadmap for a win against this kind of team is you're going to need everybody to play their best game, especially on the offensive end. This is a team in Purdue that they don't struggle to score the ball and they don't struggle to play defense. They do a lot of things well. You're going to need to try to get a guy like Isaac Haas, the big man for Purdue. You got to get him in foul trouble, get him out of the game early so that a guy like Caleb Wesson can get his points, get his boards, and work underneath. That's a guy, I think that's the biggest mismatch for Purdue, or for Ohio State against Purdue in this game, is Isaac Haas. You got to get him out of the game somehow, take him away, and then hopefully you can have your guys like Keita Bates-Diop, Sean Tate get going offensively and get into a rhythm. But, you know, playing on the road, this is going to be their toughest road test of the year. I think you got to take that crowd out early, and if you don't, and if Purdue gets going early, Ohio State's in trouble. So take Isaac Haas out of the game, take the Purdue crowd out of the game, and you have a chance.
Dan, big stuff on your beat as well, the football beat. You got the Schiano news out there. I know you're writing today for the site, some potential replacements for that. Give me kind of the gut feeling you feel on the timetable here with the Schiano potential move to New England and also the Combs replacement for Kerry Combs. How do you sense this going the next 24, 48 hours and even a week down the line?
Yeah, I feel like everything's probably in kind of a holding pattern right now until after National Signing Day coming up on Wednesday. You don't want any coaches. Ohio State doesn't want to lose any coaches, and other teams don't want to lose any coaches, or coaches don't want to leave before National Signing Day. So I think everybody's trying to get through tomorrow first, trying to get those recruits signed. Hopefully all the coaches are being honest about their intentions, but trying to get that class of 2018 signed, and then as they move on to spring football and recruiting that class of 2019, that's when you really need to get your coaching staff finalized. So I think things will move pretty quickly after Wednesday. We'll see what the Patriots ultimately decide to end up doing if they end up hiring Greg Schiano, but if that's the case, Ohio State will have 2 vacancies. I think they'll look to fill them as quickly as possible. I'd imagine they've already been interviewing and narrowing down their list of candidates for the vacancy they already have, trying to replace Kerry Combs at cornerbacks coach, but I think it's one of those things that you're probably not going to see any movement there, anything official, until after the National Signing Day.
Dan, where's Ohio? I lose track. Where does Ohio State sit in the recruiting race? Used to, we just had the one National Signing Day. It was all towards that. I know Georgia passed them at one point. Do you think Ohio State will finish on top by the time it's all said and done on Wednesday?
It sounds like Georgia's probably going to finish on top. I believe Ohio State's #1 by a hair right now, but Georgia still has a chance to maybe land a 5-star cornerback tomorrow. Ohio State, most likely their class is done. They're hoping to land 5-star offensive tackle Nicholas Petit-Frere from Tampa. If they can get him, that might keep them at that #1 spot, but if not, most likely Georgia going to finish in the #1 spot this year. Ohio State most likely going to finish in the #2 spot.
All right, Dan and James, good stuff out of both of you. We'll see you all next week on the 11warriors.com web report.